Hello and welcome to what I like to call unconventional filming, aka I'm in a really bad lighting, literally on my bed with not a good background, and it's not a very professionally set up video with like a script and a plan and prop setup. But basically, I have been filming every single month that I've read a book. I just haven't had the energy to post or edit them. So basically nothing has happened and it's not cut up, and I think I make progress, but I in fact have not. So I haven't posted since January, which would be 7 months ago. But here's the thing, I stopped filming in like May, which is only 3 months ago. So basically I've slowly dropped off the bandwagon. Didn't mean to, but here's a bit of an update. It's very unconventionally set up, but basically here's just an update of every book I've read since we last talked in January. Go follow me on Goodreads, Love a Good Follow. That's where basically all of my books are, and I write reviews for every single one of them, so you don't even have to come back here. So in case I don't update, my Goodreads is always up to date. I literally just finished a book 5 minutes ago and it's been completely updated. We are more than halfway through the year, and so basically this is just a nice little check-in between you and me about, you know, how many books and how well we've been doing since we last checked in and just throughout the whole year. I think we last checked in with Iron Flame, which is the second in the duology of The Fourth Wing. So basically we're just gonna do a quick round. The next book that I read before was Powerless by Lauren Roberts, which now has a second book, but at the time it did not have a second book. I absolutely adored. I ate up this book. I ate it up in one setting. It was one of my favorite books. It was so good. Personally rated it a 5 out of 5 stars, so very highly rated. Most of the things kind of give me an icky and red flag vibe, so I've been enjoying it, but these two main characters were absolutely phenomenal, especially when they had their vulnerable moments. They really ate. It was two such headstrongs and such fiery motivational characters that came together, didn't let each other beat each other down, and didn't, like, their character quality didn't decrease, and the book of course left on a cliffhanger and you wanting more. Lauren Roberts, you're stunning for that one. The next one that I read after that was The Silent Patient, which was also a 5 out of 5 stars. That book was incredible, especially if you guys didn't know, that's Alex, I can never say his last name, but that was his first book he's ever written, and it has gotten so much hype and it's so worth it. It is absolutely such a stunningly shockery beautiful book. A criminal psychotherapist helping a woman who murdered her husband 6 years ago and stopped talking, so everyone assumed she was guilty because his blood was on her hands, but she didn't say anything. She didn't say anything in court, and she's been silenced for 6 years after she supposedly murdered her husband, and he's like trying to figure out why. And oh my god, the twist, the shocks, and the beautifully written storyline of past, present, and just so many questions about the psychology of the human brain is so stunningly put together. The next was The Score by Elle Kennedy, and I think I rated this like a 2 out of 5 stars. It was mediocre. You know, maybe because I went from The Silent Patient to The Score, which are kind of like on 2 different levels, so you don't really expect them to be. But I kind of felt like The Score was kind of but it just wasn't very good. The sex scenes weren't like, and there was a lot of them. And it wasn't like they were like stunning, get you going. They weren't very well written, and there was too many of them to be that horribly written. And I don't know, the characters kind of gave me an off vibe. Sometimes I was like, they're pretty good, and then sometimes I wasn't. It just wasn't a shocker to me. It was fine. Move on. The next I read was Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This book was also just meh, fine. Like, I don't feel sparks or anything while reading it, and the characters were my favorite. Again, so I can't really talk about it and kind of explain it to you guys when I didn't really enjoy it. Why do I not remember this book like at all? 512 pages. I read 512 pages and was like, please cut in a clip of me reviewing Dance of Thieves after I've looked at the book and remembered what it's about, because Okay, next after I can't. Next after Dance of Next, King of Pride by Anne Hung, which I think is the second in the Kingdom's 10 series. This was a 4 out of 5 stars. This is Kai Young and Isabella, and it was kind of like a polar opposite to Kai's like reserved, controlling CEO, but really fucking hot like barrier, and they kind of weren't supposed to be together. And I don't know, I liked the tension. I liked how much she cared for her. 4 out of 5 stars. It was really nicely. It was a classic adult romance. Enjoyed it. What you would have wanted. And then the next one I read was The Deal by Ella Kennedy. Oh, it was 4. Basically, Hannah likes a guy, and the only reason to get her guy's attention is to help tutor the captain of the hockey team, who happens to be really annoying. They form a connection, and I think I really just enjoyed this book because of the connection they formed before like anything romantic happened. And then when she still was wanting this other guy and he like fell for her, like you could see the falling before like anything like sexual. I don't know, I love their banter. I love how she didn't kick in at first, and I don't know, I really liked her, and I liked how quippy she was, and it was just, I think there's a reason the first one of almost every series is good. The next was A Court of Thorns and Roses. The first book, I rated it I think 3 out of 5 stars. Wasn't my favorite, but that's mainly because there's Tamlin in it, so maybe that bitch can go kill himself and I'd be happy. But it was still good. It was really good fantasy. And then I read the second book, A Court of Mist and Fury, and that one got like a 5 out of 5 stars. Beautifully, Reyes, marry me. I'm absolutely adored. I'm shocked. I'm gagged. It was so good. She became her own person and grew and stood up for herself, and I enjoyed it. And Reyes is hot. Move on. I read Crescent City, which is also by Sarah. This was a big ass book. Let me tell you, 819 pages later. But here's the thing. You think you'd be like, fuck, that must have taken a week. It took less than a day. I did enjoy it. I liked the characters. I liked their love story. The fact that she can make that many pages with so many words and the story still be so concise and precise and have so many details, but somehow make the story still feel like it's flying by was spectacular. I don't know how she made 800 pages seem like 300, but she really did. I really did like the characters, and I like the whole bodyguard, like enemies to lovers kind of aspect. So love a good protective guy and a girl that doesn't need protection, plus a little bit of tension and banter and forced proximity. Beautiful. Well done. Then I read King of Greed, which I think is the third one. This is Dominic and I always say her name wrong. Alessandra? Correct me if I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong, so correct me. But I really liked this story because it was 3 out of 5 stars. Not bad. I really liked this story because it added so much realism. Like, he did not try for their marriage, and she left. Like, it wasn't like the beginning of a love story with an EQ. They had love. And she stood up for herself for once and left the marriage. So it started off with a breakup, which I think is such an interesting, and most people were like, I don't want to read that. But it was so good that she started off with that. Because I don't know, it already showed how strong the female character already was at the beginning. And then it showed the rebuilding a relationship and how love can be reborn and redone if you actually truly care about the person. Next, I read My Fault by Mercedes Ron. This book kind of just took me for a whirlwind of what the actual fuck. Basically, My Fault is that she is falling in love with her brother-in-law, not her brother-in-law, her new brother, because her mom is marrying his dad. But he's also completely rude to her. Like, left her on the side of the road. Is that attractive now? I actually think their age gap was illegal. Hate to admit it. Here, I'm just gonna read the back description for you because this book angers me. 17-year-old Noah Morgan loves her quiet, normal life in Toronto, but when her mother returns from her cruise unexpectedly married to a billionaire, also unexpectedly married, that's weird. and announces they're moving to LA, Noah is suddenly shoved out of her comfort zone in a glittering world of illegal street races, lavish pool parties, and spoiled rich kids. Thank you, Wattpad. And her new stepbrother, Nicholas, is the most spoiled of them all. Arrogant, aloof, viciously attractive, Nick is everything she hates, especially when she learns his bad boy persona isn't just a facade. His bad boy persona isn't just a facade. He's actually a fucking horrible human being. Look at this. After meets the kissing booth. Colleen Hoover fans. Red flag. Get out. Get out. I can't stand it. Okay, I'm not gonna cut this clip out, but when you watch this and you're watching this review of it and you're like, damn, she's going off, realize that I probably had to cut 5 minutes out of what you just watched, so I'm saving you, and I'm just letting you know that I hate it. Next, I read A Court of Wings and Ruin, and I think it was a 3 or a 4 out of me. She's finally with Reyes, like, permanently, and I'm absolutely an adoring of it. They were still in love, but their lives happened. Their whole world wasn't the love story. Like, the love story was in it, and it was great. But it's not, like, to create interest and kind of plots and a thrilling plot for the book. They have to ruin the 2 main characters' relationship. That's not how it worked. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. 5 out of 5 stars. I was flabbergasted. I was shocked. Mystery is one of my new favorite genres. Do I have to say anything else? It is hyped for a reason. I'm absolutely adoring it. Give me the television series now. Next I read Collide by... I enjoyed this book. It was long anticipated and it was good. It was a hockey romance. It was good. It was kind of enemies to friends to lovers, and I enjoyed it. Next I read Throttled by Lauren Asher, and I genuinely enjoyed this book. I have never had any interest in Formula One. I still probably don't care. It was a 3 out of 5 star. It was pretty good, but it was like trying to keep distance because her brother and him don't like each other, but now they're on the same team, so they're around each other all the time, but obviously she should not date her brother's #1 enemy. Obviously not. But he's hot. He does Formula One, and he finds her so fiery and so passionate and so beautiful. Then they just do it. But is it really gonna last throughout the whole season? It was good. It was cute, and Lauren does a really good cute romance mixed with a little bit of spice and tension. Love her for that. Next I read Powerless by Elise Silver. I think I read this coming back home from Paris. It was good. They've been in love with each other for a while. He saves her from a marriage she didn't actually want and teaches her how to be her own person and love for herself and not just for her father and her family name. And it was so cute. It was so gorgeous. Next I read Howl by Allen Ginsberg, and the only reason I did this because Jess gave it to Rory and Gilmore Girls, and I was in Paris and I bought it, and it was good. Shortest little thing, some cute little poems. I'm now Jess. Then I read Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, which was actually pretty good, but my copy didn't have the last 50 pages, so it was a really good book other than that. Loved their tension and kind of the situation, and this was one of hers. I think Ali, baby girl, Miss Hazelwood, if you don't mind. This was one of your spiciest books. And you kind of ate it up. I'm proud of you for that one. Then I read A Court of Frost and Starlight. It was so cute. It was a little baby novel. It was cute. It was gorgeous. And it was just a lot about... It was less about Reyes and more about their friends around them. And I loved the side character notes and all their antidotes and their lives. And I loved it. It was so good. Yippee. And then I read Always Be My Duchess by Amelia Howard. And I found out when I bought this book, I bought this from a small little bookstore, but I found out that they were going to put it to get destroyed in a landfill. So I saved it for being put in a landfill. That makes me so sad. Whoever's in charge of just destroying books to be put in landfills, you're doing Satan's work. Sorry. This book was cute. Usually I don't read books in like Victorian era. That's not really my taste. I've never been a Bridgerton girl. I'm not a Victorian era style like romance reader, but this was good. Pretty Woman meets Bridgerton, and like this, it's like Victorian era 90s rom-com. It was fire. and I rated it a 4 out of 5 star. And so basically, but they have more to them, and becomes her fiance. Their meeting is really cute. 4 out of 5 stars for a genre I don't really usually like. Obviously says something about this book. Why was it going to a landfill? Someone confessed for their crimes. Next, I read The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, which this is a movie, which I have not watched the movie. I rated this a 4 out of 5 stars. This was so cute. I really enjoyed it. I love the good tension. I love a good office romance. I don't know what it is about office romances, but something really hit there. And the enemies, but not really enemies, because who really pays attention to their enemy that dip? But whatever. Enemies to kind of friends to lovers, but still competing for the same thing, but really just trying to be there for each other. It was so cute. It was so cute. 4 out of 5 stars. It's a movie for a reason. It's cute. I love their polar opposite personalities, but the way they're polar opposite personalities, they see each other and they love things about each other that you wouldn't notice. Cute. Then I read Iris Kelly Doesn't Date, 4 out of 5 stars. This one was really good. It was kind of fake dating, kind of like teacher-student like love relationship thing going on, which usually isn't my favorite. Teacher-student is not my favorite. It's still not, but this was actually kind of cool. It was really cute. It was really much real life. I love a good woman on women. 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh, and that was a 1 out of 5 stars. And hashtag, what the fuck was that? If she complains about being small and petite one more fucking time, you know what? She looks exactly like me. She's like long brunette hair, and she's 5'1", and she's under 130 pounds, and a bitch. I'm under 5'2", and you don't see me complaining. You don't see me falling down as soon as I get up. What the hell? Get out of my house. Leave. I don't want to hear it. She's 15. She's the same. I mean, I'm older than her slightly, but still, same fucking age. When I was 15, I was exactly the way she was. I mean, not in personality, but in like body figure, I was the exactly same way. She's like, I don't know, I think I'm low iron. No, you're fucking not. You're over dramatic. And this author must be fucking 6 feet tall. This is how it is to be a 5-foot person. Also, he's like, I'm not used to playing with boys. I play with men. You know what? Go play with your own fucking dick. Leave. I can't stand you. I also can't stand your relationship. Why did it take you a whole book to fucking get here? Also, their age gap was 2 years, and I recently just broke up with my girlfriend like a week ago, and she's 2.5 years older than me. Nobody cared that deeply about the fucking age gap. It wasn't that big of a fucking deal. Also, the abuse factor was absolutely crazy. Chloe, babe, you milked that, and it was very badly done. Can't stand this book. I can't stand it. Whoever really likes this series actually needs to go to therapy. Then I read Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher, which I was waiting for this book. It was 5 out of 5. If you didn't know, my name is Ellie. Really fun fact. That's not my real name. My real name is Eleanor, but people call me Ellie. And to find out that that is exactly her too, Lord, I've never been so well represented. Like, anytime somebody's name is Ellie in a book, they're just born Ellie. I've never had my real name represented in a book. My real name is Eleanor, and that is hers too. And also, their romance of him being so closed off, but having their kid to connect them was absolutely beautiful. Their love story was so beautifully done, and the representation of the name really sold it for me. But also the character development and the way they had that back and forth, but they still ended up happy, was just added the sense of realism. And I don't know, it was so good. 5 out of 5 stars. Thank you, Lauren. Then I read King of Sloth, which was the 4th book. This one was a 3 out of 5 stars, and it wasn't bad. I actually really enjoyed it. It was kind of like management student, not like teaching things, but she's literally his manager, and he's like a fucking prick. And I don't know, I like the way they brought out different sides of each other, especially when they're alone. But it was definitely slow burn because client and management, not a good player. But the way they brought out the happiness in each other and kind of just like had a little bit more self-discovery and overall happiness, it was good. Then I read Reckless by Lauren. Roberts, which, you know, I mentioned Powerless. As soon as I was done reading Powerless, I was begging for July 2nd to come, and it did. I read Powerless, I bought it, 5 out of 5 stars. This is one of the best sequels I have ever read. So good. Peyton and Kai are still the same exact characters. They kept their character development through the second book till the end, and I'm gonna guess through the third book. They are still headstrong, still beautifully well done. Their relationship is even better. Their banter, fantastic. Their story and the back and forth, and you think it's over, but it's not over. And the ending, I screamed. It was 2 a.m. and I literally screamed, and I'm still thinking about it. I sent TikToks to one of my friends. Both of us are absolutely still gagged, still flabbergasted to this day. Almost a month later, I am still flabbergasted thinking about it. Shocking, beautiful. Thank you, Lauren. 5 out of 5. Then I read Pretend You're Mine. This was a really long book, and kind of for no reason. I would say it's kind of realism, but I don't know. It was really annoying realism, and kind of made me really annoyed. I finished it in one sitting, so it wasn't like horrible, like I needed a break, but after I read it, I needed a moment to decompress because I really just couldn't handle it, because it was just too much. And sometimes too much is like, oh my god, so good, but it was just too much, and not a very good way. Kind of bad. 3 out of 5. It was good. You could read it. It just wasn't my favorite outstudying, and the relationship just wasn't really what somebody needed, and the back and forth was not like good back and forth. It was like, you're not aligning with what you're saying, and you know that, and that's getting quite annoying for 500 pages in. Then I just finished Hot House Flower. It was 3 out of 5. It wasn't stunning. The characters weren't my favorite, especially at the beginning. They grew on me. Literally, I have it right here. I finished it right as I started watching this video. It was good. Characters didn't grow on me, but it's a classic little kind of like, kind of has a darker, corrupted side romance. Fine. 3 out of 5. Read it if you want to read it. I enjoyed it. And that's basically every single book that I have read since we last talked. Thank you so much. I will definitely do a what I read in August just to get back on the bandwagon, and you will be seeing more of me. I love you guys so much. I really hope you enjoyed it. So sorry it's long. So happy to be caught up though. I will see you at the end of August. Pinky promise. I hope you have a beautiful day, beautiful night, beautiful afternoon. Love yourself. Bye.